It's been over 20 years since they came out with a Mortal Kombat movie, so we have to talk about it. Greetings, welcome to First Trailer. I'm your host, Vintage Grenade, and this is the first in a slate of episodes where we're gonna actually do movie reviews. Forewarning, this is gonna be a spoiler fest on Mortal Kombat, so we're gonna break down the characters, talk about different aspects of the movie. Now, this movie's been out for a little bit, so everyone should have seen this movie already. So even if you haven't seen this film, you're gonna find out pretty much everything that happens through our commentary. Now, to aid me in this discussion, I brought in my man Bushido Black, who I originally had for my Snyder Cut discussion, but I wanted to do this Mortal Kombat first.
Yeah, we definitely need to talk about it.
Yeah, we do.
We need to talk about it.
Now, first of all, let's get to the nitty-gritty, whether or not this movie was good or bad. Look, my opinion, the movie was garbage.
I wish I had more hands, so I could get Mortal Kombat 4 thumbs down.
So my man Sparks, aka Bushido Black, you done worked on videos with artists like Pusha T. You got projects coming along. What would you say to people that come up to me asking about this Mortal Kombat movie?
What I tell people is if you got HBO Max and you're just looking for something to watch because you're bored or it's late at night, you want something to watch, check it out. But I would spend the extra money to go to a theater and pay like $25 for popcorn and soda and all that. I would be mad as I don't know what. It just wasn't a good movie. Was it entertaining to a degree? You know, if that's what you just wanted, something to watch to take your mind off of stuff, it does that. But it just wasn't. It wasn't a good movie. Like, it just wasn't done well.
So why is it they keep trying to put something out? For those that don't know, what is it about MK?
I think at this point, it speaks for itself. The most recognized and popular fighting game of all time. And so, like, that's what the popularity came from, the fact of all these fatalities that you could do. The game that just was never done before, even from the way that they, instead of having them draw the characters or, 2D create the characters, they actually had people dressed up in costumes and they shot it that way and then formatted it for the game. So it was just different all the way around.
So at the height of the game's popularity, of course they went to make a movie about it. And with confidence, I can say the original movie was kind of cheesy, right?
There was no kinda in it.
You know what?
Very cheesy.
I don't think so.
But it was the 90s, so you kind of let it slide.
Yeah. Then they turned around and made a second installment, and that was even worse. Have you ever seen Annihilation all the way through?
That was horrible.
As long as the portal remains open, your world becomes my world.
Annihilation was so bad.
So we can say Annihilation annihilated or effectively killed the franchise movie-wise. So we thought until they brought this new trailer. Look, this channel we mainly talk about movie trailers. What you think about the trailer?
The trailer had me sold. Really included two of the most popular characters in the game, which was Scorpion and Subzero. And so they had me with the fight scene that looked like it was in a feudal Japan that was made focus on Scorpion. And then they got me with the Jax and Sub-Zero scene when Jax fired the gun and Sub-Zero froze the gun in the buckshot. Like, that had me. I was like, okay, this might be dope.
It didn't get me super hyped up seeing the trailer, but I was like, this can be something. This was quality work. Yeah, I relate the original movie to this one because they had the generic ninja.
More like a ninja. Terrible what passes for a ninja these days.
You had a muscle man dude with a scarf on his head with knives. Like, that's just some stuff dude they got just to get killed. Problem is with this new movie, it's like if you took the cheesiness of the old movie and just put quality actors and good special effects, it's like the same movie. So in the original movie, they pulled out this weird Kano, he fought Sonja Blade, she killed him, and I was like, what, that's it? They had what the dude Josh Lawson said he was gonna play Kano. He's like a comedian or something. And obviously, if you've seen the movie, Kano is a bit of comic relief in the movie.
He made the movie more tolerable. He stole every scene that he was in. He was likable. You know, his comedy wasn't over the top, it wasn't believable, but he was like a jerk that you just, you know, he was cool. You just liked to watch. He was very charismatic, very funny. If Kano wasn't in this movie the way that he was in this movie, it would have been worse.
Even in his rants, he explained why he is what he is and why he act the way he act.
Right.
I propped to expanding his role a little further, but his final fight with Sonja Blade to me was still a bit lackluster. She has a certain look, and they get a good acting to do her. She always been straight in the animes and the different movies. I ain't had no complaint with Sonja Blade.
I had a hard time with her because I know her from this show called Sirens, which is a comedy. And so that's all I saw when I saw her. I was just like, yo, and it's one of my favorite shows, but that's what I just saw. So it's hard for me to see her in that role. But I think she did a good job overall. She did the best with what they gave her.
Yeah. Yeah, another way I compare this movie to the one from back in the day. It's like in the first movie they used some cheesy CGI to bring reptiles just to be like, okay, here's an important character for you to kill. And nobody explained how Kano just be able to punch somebody's heart out. Like,
he's supposed to be, you know, a killer, you know, that can handle himself. So basically, he just is that kind of strong, can fight that well at their minimum. You know, just gratuitous violence and say, hey, look, somebody's heart got snatched out because now you're watching Mortal Kombat. You know what I'm saying? It's real now. That's all it was.
Yeah, well, since we're on the subject of gratuitous violence and giving the fans what they want, I must admit, the attitude and the look of that Kung Lao was perfect.
Yeah, they nailed Kung Lao, and he got one of the dopest fatalities in the movie. Like, that was just dope.
The part where he was like flawless victory, and the other part where they say fatality and all that, it didn't feel natural. It just felt like they put that in for fan service.
Of course they did it for fan service. There's no situation that you're going to be in where you're going to be in win a fight and you're going to be like flawless victory. You know what I mean? It was just all for the movie anyway. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. So for that, I let that cheese slide. You know what I'm saying? That was just fan service.
Yeah.
My beef with this movie was, it started off dope.
Yeah.
Seeing Scorpion, you know, they show how he died and Khan or whatever. That was dope. I'm like, okay, we off to a good start right now.
Look at Scorpion, and plus the actor that plays him, I always like that dude.
Oh yeah, he's one of my favorite actors. He's dope. Subzero, aka Bihan, dude is dope overall. I like the character that the actor that they had played Bihan. He's actually in another one of my favorite shows called Warrior, which just got picked up by HBO Max. Dope, because their first 2 seasons are crazy. So he's a martial arts fighter, really good. So I'm glad he was cool. I was really pleased with that. I like that they portrayed him in the movie. I didn't really have anything negative to say about Subzero.
They ain't really go into too much about why he was there killing.
Nah. To me, it just seemed like they had like gang beef. The Lin Kuei was beefing with Scorpion Squad, and you know that's how that was. It's kind of like, you know, street beef.
Yeah, I ain't got no real problem with Subzero. Always was like, you know, how to explain his powers. In the movie, they get their powers through unlocking their potential through the tournaments.
Yeah, I felt like that was kind of cool. You know, it kind of gave this. So the 3 things that I think I really liked about the movie, being that it was overall, you know, not good, but I like the breakdown of the abilities. You know, they played Jax, because I'm like, so amazingly for him to get his abilities, he had to get his arm snatched off.
And on top of that, I guess they was trying to get him somebody important to kill in General Renko. But when I first seen Renko, I thought he was a generic ninja. I would have went in a different direction with how they get those abilities, more or less. Earth realm people, they just use technology to do different stuff or whatever. But I ain't going into rewriting the movie. But I was up in the air about that.
Something different. It's like kind of like tap, and then it was like you were tapping into your own unique ability. You know, it made something that made you unique. It was that I'm cool with. Maybe could have been fleshed out a little bit better, but overall, I wasn't mad at that.
Reflecting back on the trailer, a high point of it was that Mileena. Then further in the movie, The actress they got to play her, the makeup, all on point. I would even say it's an improvement on the video game version.
Yeah, she was cool. I still wish they would like kept her in the mask and did the reveal for her, you know, the way her mouth is and everything.
Yeah.
But I wasn't too upset about her either.
All these characters got such a good backstory. It's like, you know, it's
the whole,
so much
the whole
more you could have did.
Yeah, the whole Outworld, you know, that whole situation, you know. But see, that's the thing. Like, Mortal Kombat is such a $1 million franchise as far as video games is concerned. You don't really need to take a whole lot of time to dig through the backstories, but you still need to find a way to reference them so that, you know, somebody who, you know, living under a rock or whoever has never heard of Mortal Kombat can have some idea. But at the same time, that franchise is so successful and so well known that sometimes you don't need a backstory. You just like, yo, this is this person, and that way you can focus on the overall story as a whole. You don't need to like keep breaking everybody down. There's no point in that.
Oddly enough, the one person they did explore a backstory with was Cole. Now, I ain't had access to the screenplay, but in the trailer, red flags went up when I seen Cole Young. I was weary of that. I'm always weary when you got plenty of stuff to work with and they add something new. With Marvel movies, even characters that you think be like, okay, they ain't a superhero or anything, they might have just added them. If you go back and read the comic books, they actually a person in the comic books. It was supposed to be narrated through Cole, but he ain't really proved useful for it.
I call Cole, not that he's useless, he's just unnecessary. He's the most unnecessary character probably of any movie ever made. He just wasn't necessary. You could have still told this same story without him, and it would have been just as bad, but his presence in this movie didn't make a bit of difference whatsoever.
They tried to make him relevant by taking on Goro. Once again, my comparison to the original film. In the original film, they disrespected him. I don't know if they used animatronics, but if it was CGI, it was questionable in both films. This dude's supposed to be the prince of his dragon race. One of the greatest warriors, and you regulate him to fighting in somebody's backyard, beating up on a pickup truck?
Right.
And that Cole meal, a washed up MMA fighter beat the prince of the dragon monsters in his backyard? Like, come on, man.
Here comes Shane!
Shang Tsung uses immense power to open up a portal in somebody's shed. How you read that script and be like, oh yeah, I'm with this, that's cool, this gonna be a good movie.
Yeah, his secret power was the plot device. You know what I'm saying? So that's what he had. You know what I mean? It's the script. That was his secret weapon.
Yeah,
so
man.
I wasn't feeling that either. You know, I wasn't feeling that like at all. I was like, yeah, that's tight whack.
Moreover, I was surprised when Kabal popped up.
But he's one of my favorite characters, so it's hype to see Kabal in the movie. I liked him. They even kind of told a little bit of his backstory through dialogue, how he was a part of the Black Dragon gang, and you know he got played by Kano. I liked that part of it. You know, his fighting ability was on par with what he can do in the game, so I thought that was kind of dope. He can do more stuff, but it was cool seeing him. I was kind of hurt, you know, what happened to him, but I was glad to see him because I wasn't expecting. You know, they didn't show that in the trailer, which I'm glad.
Liu Kang.
I didn't like Liu Kang in this movie. I didn't like their Liu Kang.
Liu Kang was kind of timid. He was kind of, like they found me, I want nothing, and I just look up the collabs. He was just a guy.
I don't know. He was just that's not Liu Kang. You know, like now that's one thing that the first movie did better than this one. Liu Kang was dope. This Liu Kang was trash. Yeah. I was just like, yo, why are you here? Like, you know, he just it wasn't cool.
Of course, would-be moviegoers would be nervous about them potentially screwing up Raiden.
Raiden was cool. The actor they got to play Raiden is cool.
Shang Tsung.
The dude that plays Shang Tsung in the original movie, he gets a lot of work in the video games and doing voiceover and even some of the shows.
The actor they got to play Shang Tsung was cool. Like, they had certain key pieces, but you can put the best actors in any movie. You give them a crappy script, they can only do this so much.
Yeah, with Marvel movies that stem from comics, they had success with their animated movies and cartoons and their feature films. Whereas Mortal Kombat, when it comes from video games, they had success with their shows and animations, but they keep failing with their motion pictures.
Video game movies have this curse about them. They never work. They're never done well. Now, they come off some dope animated stuff, but a live action video game movie, they just don't work. And I don't know why. I don't know if it's something that gets lost in translation from the game story to trying to bring it to life or any of that. Because see, it's a way to do it. Like Mortal Kombat Legacy, which is also on HBO Max.
Yeah.
It was a short mini series that was on YouTube. Now that was dope, the way they did it, and I was hoping they was going to go more that route with this.
Like, you know, when they had Lost, every character had one episode dedicated to their backstory.
They should take an anime approach. You know what I mean? Like that's how a lot of anime do it. If, for example, the Demon Slayer movie or My Hero Academia, you'll have this season that breaks down, you know, the story for that season, but then they'll do these movies in between seasons, and it brings both together. So Mortal Kombat, it's like it should be like the episodes where you get to, you know, establish the characters, get some backstory, but the movie should be the tournament and nothing but the tournament. At that time, it should be that's it, because that's basically what the game is about. That's what the whole movie should be. I respect what they were trying to do as far as trying to establish a world and do a world, you know, building type situation. So this is just a setup, and then the next movie will be, you know, I don't know if they're planning on 2 or 3, but it's like if they're doing it the way that I think they were going to do it, they were trying to do like this will be the foundation. They were going to go find the next movie is them finding more people, and then a third movie would be the tournament. But they botched it so much in the first. I don't want it to take 3 movies to get to a tournament. Like, tournament needs to be the next movie. And just fast forward a little bit and just try to do better with the story. Because like we were talking about Kong and Godzilla, we just really want to see them fight. We don't really care about how it interacts with people. You know, we just want to see collateral damage, big monsters fighting. It's the same thing with Mortal Kombat. We don't really care about so much of the backstory. I mean, I know you got established characters, but after that, like, we're just trying to see some dope martial arts, some cool special effects, and, you know, the fatalities and, you know, nods to the game and all of that stuff. That's what everybody wants to see.
Yeah, and I guess through trying to give the fans what they want, through the years they done developed so much material that they just threw a whole bunch of stuff together, seemingly in a rush. Even though I don't think fans was like, hurry up and come out with another Mortal Kombat movie. So with, like you said, going on with the next one.
My suggestion is, one, take your time to flesh out the story. You know, do that first, and then pull from the actual source material of the game. Take your time with it. It doesn't have to be, you know, rushed, super fast payoff. Like, it's something that really needs to be kind of walked into, and then you run. You can't go into it running, put in a garbage character to help explain everything so that people can catch up. It's already good to go. Just run. You know what I mean? Just walk into it rather than run. You know what I mean? But build your story.
Yeah, we go further into discussions, but I didn't want to go too deep in just one video. I'll probably make another video that include, you know, expanded discussions we have on all the HBO Max movies. But thanks, Bushido Black, for all your helping and aiding you, giving your insight.
Black Lotus Society in the building again. You know what I mean? So we here.
If you like the content on this channel, hit that like button, hit subscribe. Check you out later next time. Peace.
Peace.